outside? Should I run and hide? How do I take my company worldwide? Do you love the law? Did you watch Hee Haw? What's the weirdest thing that you ever saw? What's it like in court? Favorite sport? Can you help with my book report? Is my hair too long? Am I right or wrong? And do you mind if I sing along to anything? Ask Alan anything in the world.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Ask Alan, the podcast. I'm Alan Crone, CEO of the Crone Law Firm, and with me today is my guest, Morgan Tate, who's the principal property manager at River City Land Company, and we're excited to talk about him, find out about his business, but also find out about Morgan Tate, how Morgan Tate got to be so successful and where he is. And Morgan, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Alan, thank you for having me. Sorry, my phone cut out. No, I appreciate you having me on. I'm looking at myself on this Zoom call, and you asked how successful I've become. And I also have noticed how gray I have become in the last, I guess, 8 months, not only with COVID and everything that everyone across the world's been dealing with, but I also have a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. So they keep me on my toes, and that's, you know, it's we can start there, but it's been 15 years in real estate, and learn something new every day.
I'm hip to that 1 and 3-year-old scene. It's been a while since I've been there, but I'm right there with you. And don't be modest. We know those are platinum highlights, and you paid big money for those.
Oh yeah. No. It has, as I am looking. It has grade a lot, and which I don't mind, and it really just excited to be on your show. And
well, very good. I understand, Morgan, you're a native Memphian.
I am probably, let's see, 5th generation Memphian.
Is that right?
5th generation, or West Tennessee at least. 5th generation West Tennessean. Born and raised in Memphis. Both my parents born and raised in Memphis. Great grandparents. My wife native Memphian, and been here for a long time. I love Memphis. I was listening to your show with Jeremy Park, and it just made me think about how proud I am to be a Memphian. And the city offers so much, and it take, you know, whatever somebody can take. There's so many good things the city offers, and you know, I appreciate it, and I'm so thankful and grateful to be from Memphis. And yeah, it's just an amazing city.
Well, very good. So what part of town did you grow up in?
I grew up in, well, I was in Midtown all the time because my grandparents were in Midtown. So we went to school at Idlewild on Linden Avenue, kindergarten through 3rd grade. So I was in Central Gardens all the time after school. But I lived out in East Memphis, kind of the Park and Cherry area.
Mm-hmm. The mean streets of East Memphis.
The main streets of East Memphis. That's where I was.
Where you had to fight to get a tea time.
You did. No, fight to get it at Audubon. Yeah.
I had a buddy in college. That's the way he would describe his child. He said, I grew up on the mean streets of East Memphis, and I had to fight to get a tea time. So, well, very good. So I'll ask you a real Memphis question. Which high school did you go to?
I went to CBHS.
Oh, very good.
Very, yeah. As I know, I believe you did too, correct?
Well, actually, no, I was in the preparatory seminary in Belleville, Illinois. As Miles Mason, who was my law partner, said, Crone was too Catholic to go to Christian Brothers. He had to go to the seminary. I don't know about that, but had I stayed in Memphis, I would have gone to Christian Brothers. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, I did St. Dominic, and then Christian Brothers, then on to Knoxville. So a lot of people have done that same St. Dominic, Christian Brothers, Tennessee roots.
That path is well worn with lots of illustrious alumni.
It is.
So, how did a guy graduates from UT? You come out of UT. How do you get to property management business in a land company?
Well, so I was planning on going to law school, and I'd done, full, it took me 4.5 years to get out of college, but that also meant I was in school the last couple summers. So I was like not ready to jump into law school. So I came back here and got my real estate license in 2005. Started working as a realtor at what was at the time Prudential Collins Maury, and left to work with, in 2007, left to work with Griffin Elkington and his dad, John, for a couple years at John's business, and doing more primarily commercial leasing. And in late 2008, Griffin and I left to join a company called River City Land Company that was started by builders. And it was kind of the real estate arm of a development and building company. And then in 2011 or 12, Griffin bought the company from the Eddie Kircher and Mark Bells. And we moved to East Memphis. And in probably late 2012, I decided to start the property management division of the company. And we started with 6 properties, and it has since grown, and it's all really been referrals and word of mouth, but we've grown from 6 to nearly 800 where we are today. So it's, River City Land Company itself, we have realtors, builders, developers that all work here, and I do our property management division. I run our property management division. So it's been a great, it's been a great business. I enjoy it. I love it. Property management is not for everyone. It's, there are a lot of great things that happen, and there are a lot of things that happen that are very challenging. And thoroughly enjoy it. My wife may say that, it's a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week job. People ask, are you taking off? I mean, yeah, I'm taking off, but I may have to be working here shortly because things happen that I've got to get involved with. But if you have a team set up around you, which we do, I have a lot of confidence in everyone I work with. So, that is, extremely important for any line of work, is to surround yourself with people that I have full confidence in. At a point, probably in 2015, we started really growing. We were growing about 100 new properties a year. 2015, we did 115 new properties we brought on. And I'd gotten to the point where I needed extra help. At the beginning, I was doing everything. I was showing the houses. I was signing the leases. I was going out on, not maintenance calls, but I'd go out and look at the maintenance stuff and then get somebody out there. I mean, I was doing it all, and I couldn't do it anymore. I needed help. And, surrounding yourself with somebody that is I want people that are smarter than me and more organized than me. And so I thought the best person for that was to hire my mother. So she just retired, and I said, Mom, would you want to get your real estate license? She'd been in social work for 30 years with Shelby County government, ran the CSA program there, which now all of a sudden I'm dealing with a lot today with everyone needing help with the pandemic and everything. So she was, great. She loved it. She got her real estate license, and she was so happy. And she's our, I guess, head leasing agent. Does not get out as much right now, just with everything going on with the pandemic. So she's more on the phone as our leasing coordinator, and kind of keeping everything going. So yes, surrounding yourself, that's, having people that I can depend on and count on to know that the work's getting done and that I trust, is by, any business. And I'm lucky to have that.
Yeah, in the property management business, you really are in the problem solving business, right?
Very, very much so. I mean, the last 5 days have been extremely stressful, not to mention the last 8 months, but the last 5 days, there've been, great things that have happened, but then there've been several things that have been troubling, and, that I've really kind of, you got to take a step back and realize, like, what is really important in some of these issues that we've been dealing with in the last 5 days. I don't want to get any details, but I can get into one of our contractors that we were using on some jobs that we've used, before it passed away. It was in the middle of a couple insurance jobs, and it's your thought is for the person's family, and it was just gut wrenching to hear. And I still don't know what happened, but it unexpectedly passed away. And you have to, you feel for the guy's business and his family. And, then I'm like, well, I still have to try to figure out how to get this big insurance job done. And it's hard to, move on when you're dealing with something like that. That's not something we deal with a lot, and it's very sad. But like you said, it's a problem solving, and you get hit with something like that, and it really makes you think what the important things are. So little things that happen, it makes them seem very very unimportant, some things. I like to tell owners, my number one goal as a property manager is to protect their investment and protect the property that they bought. Usually all our owners live out of town, and a lot of times they've never seen the property that they purchased, and I'm their eyes and ears here. And, I'll call them about something, and sometimes they'll, maybe, get upset that something's, happened, or, I tell them, I said, this is a very small thing. We'll get through this. It's not, we'll make it work. And I reassure them that. And then, stuff like this happens, and they realize when I'm talking to them, they're like, yeah, I understand what you're saying. I mean, it's, you've got to look at the big picture and not let the little things just, I don't think nag is the word, but not let the little things really irritate you. You've got to just keep going. But I don't want to talk about, I want to talk about good stuff. I talk about, as Jeremy was saying in y'all's interview that I listened to, I try to be very optimistic, very, positive, and I am very happy. And, I try to see all the good things, and I feel the good far outweighs the bad. And that's the same in property management. There's so many great things that happen, and the things that the building of wealth that you can do for a person, or the long-term wealth, or even short-term, monthly cash flow that's coming in for people. But they're sorry.
That's all right. Life happens.
Doing it on my phone, and I keep getting calls. But I don't want to, sorry, I got off track on that.
Okay. Let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Is most of your properties, are they single family residences?
Majority, or I'd say 95% are single family, usually 25 years old or newer, minimum 3-bed, 2-bath, 2-car garage. Most of our properties are in the, let's put it, most of our out-of-town investors prefer the newer homes that are 25 years old or newer. A lot of our more local investors, have some of the older stuff by the University of Memphis and colonial acres and homes that are, some by the U of M or Midtown, 100 years old. But most of our out of town investors, like the 25-year-old or newer, that have less potential maintenance issues, doesn't mean that you can't. I mean, you've got maintenance issues on every house, whether it's a year old or 100 years old. But that's where the majority of our clients purchase, in usually the Cordova, Bartlett, Lakeland, Arlington, that 38125 zip code down at like the Hacks Cross, Shelby Drive area, and newer homes. But the local guys seem to like to, more Midtown U of M area.
Yeah. What do you think, from your perspective, where are the hot real estate areas in Memphis these days?
I mean, it's the inventory is so low, and prices are going up. So, I mean, the stuff that people bought a year, 2 years ago, that's already cash flowing for them. Then they, something like what has happened in the last 8 months happened, and they're like, hey man, I got to sell my house. This has happened, or I need to, and the appreciation just in the last 2 years in Memphis has been great. I couldn't even pinpoint a place. I mean, we've gotten into a lot in Whitehaven, and Whitehaven's been fabulous. All parts. I mean, every investor has a different expectation. It depends on what price range they want to buy in, or, certain, just all over town has been really, I don't know if you'd call it a hot spot, but the University of Memphis has been great. That area. Cordova is always, the prices are going up, which, for sellers is great. For buyers, get in now, because it really is. Memphis is still, the cost of living and, cost of housing and everything is still, well below national averages. And you can get a lot for your money here. Rents are still affordable. In certain cities, you hear about rents being $2,000 and $3,000. And I mean, what's the percentage of someone's, that's renting that place? What's the percentage of their income? Half that they're paying or more for rent. So Memphis is still, a very reasonable place to live, and property values are going up. Memphis is kind of that slow and steady. It's not, like in 2008 when the crisis occurred, we didn't get just drilled because our prices had not gotten so far, out of whack that, it was not to say, I mean, a lot of people were hurt by the 2008 crisis, which I don't,
I think
and Memphis is just more of it was a decrease in property value, but nothing anywhere near like other parts of the country, East Coast, West Coast.
Yeah, Memphis, I think, kind of across the board and across industries, has never been much of a bubble town.
Right.
We really don't ride the bubble up, but at the same time, we don't ride it down. And I think that's been a strong suit of Memphis. Although, as you say, don't want to downplay what happened in 2008, because there were a lot of people hurt by that.
No, there were, and I think, but that was directly due to some poor, that due to the housing market and due to housing practices, that spearheaded that. I mean, I don't, I feel like we're going to be very stable for a good while.
And what were you doing? What were you doing back in 08?
08. So let's see, 05, I got my license. 08, I was, selling houses. And I remember my first house in 05. I'd just gotten out of college, got a listing over on Rhodes, over near Cherry and Rhodes, near the South Campus. And a friend of my parents, I listed the house. I sold it for, I think, $80,000 and this was in 05. And, I got my first commission after college, and I lived with my parents. I didn't have any, I think I was still on their insurance. I think I had a cell phone bill. The car was paid for, and I got this, commission check, and my dad's like, what are you doing? And I said, well, I'm going to Destin for a week. I was like, I was going to celebrate. And, I was young, and 2007, 6, 7, I was doing okay, selling some real estate, worked for Bill Murray over at Prudential, and
Sure.
great guy. And then '08, I mean, it's amazing. I kept my real estate license. I was working some part-time jobs. I was, it was a struggle. And I just bought my first house in 2007, and '08, it was a struggle that everyone was dealing with. Everyone, builders, appraisers, everyone in the Memphis real estate market dealt with. And I think we went from having, I think we lost about 1,500 or 2,000 realtors in the Memphis market in '08, '09, and '10. But in 12 is when I decided to start the property management division of the company. And I've loved every moment since. I mean, there are struggles, but like I said, the good far outweighs the bad.
How would you compare '08 with 2020 in terms of the economic downturn and how it's affected your industry? Obviously, '08 kind of real estate was the critical.
'08 was because of financial or practices in the industry. And this, I've told people this, and it's at the beginning of the year in January, I was planning on, all new things to implement throughout the year, and new practices and new technology that may be able to help our business, and, what we can start implementing. And then when, March rolled around, we went from what can we do to enhance or advance and make things easier in our business to just it's nearly like treading water. I didn't know what was going to happen in mid-March. Like, are half the people not going to be paying rent, or more than that? I mean, you hear these stories across the country of what's going on. And, the Memphis market, we have a lot of great essential jobs, and we have a great workforce here. And the tenants and owners and I and everyone in my office kind of worked together in March, April, May, June. I mean, and we still are. And, people that were affected, like everyone was affected. I mean, whether it was directly or indirectly, everybody's been affected by this. But I have been very proud of the tenants and the owners coming together to the people that were directly impacted, getting them on a payment plan or working with them to help get through this. And, the owners, everybody talks about the tenants, but owners, they're still paying their mortgage payments and still doing this. I had a lot of owners that lost their jobs too, and were impacted greatly. But I've been very proud at the amount of people that we had pay rent early in April, May, June, July. People get their stimulus check and came in prepaid rent, and owners were very fast too to help people that were in need. And the Memphis market has been really good. I mean, we had maybe 5% of our tenants that reached out that lost their job. And then several agencies, MIFA, Shelby County Community Services Agency, and several other agencies across the city. And, where there are also grant money and whatnot that have been given to us to help people in need. So these agencies have been really good at helping people. And, but the Memphis, like you were talking, with the FedEx, the AutoZone, the International Paper, the Service Master, the industries that are here, we've had a lot of, it's at one point in June of nearly 800 properties, we only had 2 vacancies.
Wow.
And I've been really, I didn't know what to expect in March, but right now we have about 1% vacancy right now. And a lot of people that maybe would think of moving after a year or two, they're kind of waiting and seeing. It's kind of they're staying where they are right now, in our properties, or if they're looking to buy. People are. We just have had a very high retention rate during all this, and because people, it's not people that are moving kind of have to move. They're not wanting to move during this crazy time.
You continue to expand your holdings?
Yeah, we've not as much as we expect. I mean, the projections, we're looking at probably adding about 150 new properties this year, but we're on pace of all the different owners that we work with. It looks like probably the year 2020 gained about 80 to 90 new properties. People that we're gonna buy just kind of were, kind of a wait and see, but we've had plenty that continue to buy new homes and grow. So it's been a nice year. I mean, it's I'd say it's been a nice year. I mean, it's been a very terrible year, but I know everyone's looking to 2021, but it's been a nice growth year. Like I said, I would like to start implementing new things, but we're just trying to take care of all the issues that come from the COVID mess. And 2021, hopefully it'll give us some breathing room to start some new, I guess, practices in our field. And I was excited about going to some national conventions to learn new property management techniques and stuff. And I don't know when something like that'll happen again. But that is one thing, learning, as you and Jeremy discussed, learning every day is a learning experience, whether it's a good or bad thing. Any experience that I have, I try to learn from it and make our team better. So.
Sure. Well, I think one of the big business buzzwords this year is pivot. Looking back so far in this process, what's been the biggest pivot you guys have made that you think might outlive the pandemic that you would never have done had you not been limited by quarantine and social?
Yeah. I'll tell you, I was always a big proponent of, at our lease signings, I always like to bring tenants into the office, whether it was me or someone else in our office, bring them in, kind of explain how we work and what they can expect from us during their lease, and, explain, what they can expect from us and what we expect from them as tenants. And I always like doing that, bringing people into the office. Since March, we've done everything via DocuSign. And it's, it frees up a lot of time. It gives me time to do other things. So, I mean, tenants, the DocuSign's very easy. I tell them, please, I want them to always call if there are any questions, call me. But, we probably won't start up bringing tenants back into the office. We'll probably continue with DocuSign and, having them signed digitally. In regards to showings, I mean, for the first couple months, nearly everything we did was virtual. We'd do walkthroughs on FaceTime. We'd do little video recordings of the home and send them to people. But most everything was virtual. And, we've since, wear gloves, open up the house, but, we let people in the house, they walk around, we lock up, we're not obviously shaking hands and we're, but yeah, I think the virtual showings will potentially kind of continue. People want to see their house, though. I mean, people want to see something in person. Right. They don't mind signing a lease digitally, but a lot of people that move here from out of town, it's virtual. They see it. Everything is electronic. But people still want to see their property. But moving forward, probably everything will be done via DocuSign for the most part.
Yeah, I've been from, in our profession, I've been kind of amazed how easily we've gone from in-person meetings to Zoom and telephone initial consultations. I was worried, kind of like you, that people would want to, see my office or meet me in person. And I think they probably prefer to do that. But when faced with getting in a car and driving to the office and getting out and coming in, just getting on a Zoom call is much more convenient, and there's plenty of time to get to know one another down the road.
Right. No, 100%. I'm trying to think of some other stuff that, I mean, we like maintenance guys wearing masks and gloves. I mean, I don't know when I'm going to stop doing that. It's probably, it's going to be a while. So, I mean, we'll keep doing the gloves and mask and, some tenants, and I try to be as respectful as possible to the tenants. One challenge we've had, and I wouldn't say it's a challenge, it's good for our owners, which I'm always an advocate. I want anything that's good for my owners. We've had so many owners refinancing their houses because the interest rates have been so low. Challenge has been that when you have people working from home and it's in the middle of a global pandemic and their kids are doing virtual schooling, trying to just schedule an appraisal or a home inspection there. So, if we've had a lot of investor to investor sales, so not only the appraisal, we'll also have to have a home inspection. So those have been really challenging to get done because people are scared of people being around them. Their kids are at home doing virtual learning. They're working from home. So you would think it would usually be easy if this were a year ago because if they're at home, but now they're at home because of the pandemic, and it's they're scared for people to be in their house. And I don't ever want my tenants to feel uncomfortable. I want, them to feel safe. And so, I know all the appraisers I know will tell you it's been just I'm not going to say nightmare, but it's just trying to schedule and try to keep tenants and homeowners, happy and make them feel safe. That's been a challenge.
There's been some thought amongst talking heads, and I've been reading that I do a lot of employment law, and so the idea of this, telecommuting, working from home, whatever you want to call it, may outlast the pandemic to some extent or another. From your business, do you anticipate that that's going to become a sought after feature in your properties? Logistically set up for working from home in a way that maybe that wasn't even a consideration a year ago.
So you're saying, will the tenants?
Yeah, well, the tenant would be looking
will
they be looking
to work
for
from
infrastructure or a space to work from home or that sort of thing? Or do you think it's going to impact you guys at all?
No, I can see. I definitely see people that will continue to work from home. I don't think it will impact us in a, it may be. I've had several tenants who have said, "Hey, I want to move because I need more room because I'm going to be working virtually from now on," but they want to move into another one of our houses.
Sure.
And somebody else would be able to rent their house. And no, I think, I think, like you said, in all lines of work, I think, people working from home is going to, I think this is going to continue. The first few months, several of the people in our office work from home, and we just had a few of us in the office, and they'll continue. I mean, I've, working half days from home or working from home a couple days a week or something. I mean, that some people in our office can do that, and it's perfectly fine. But yeah, I mean, the people have reached out and said, "Hey, I need a fourth bedroom because I've got to have it as my office, and I need space, and I can't just have this little corner of my bedroom as my office anymore. I really do need more space." So yeah, I think a lot of people will continue to do that. I don't think it will be a hindrance for us. I think it will just open up, more tenants moving houses. I mean, and most of them have reached out and said they want to continue renting from us, but they want whenever something comes along that kind of fits their criteria, to let them know. And, that's actually good for us when we have a current tenant moving to another property. Obviously they've been good tenants here, and it's good for our owners to get somebody we're real familiar with and know will be a great tenant to take care of their property.
Sure. I was talking to a developer who builds a lot of apartments kind of in Midtown and downtown. And he said that they're looking at doing that, having maybe not an extra bedroom, but a dedicated workspace, more, USB and electrical outlets, and maybe even more, I don't want to say industrial, commercial size, but more filters and UV lights and other things like that for hygiene and so forth, that again, a year ago, he wouldn't have thought would be a selling feature, but now it's maybe a big selling feature.
Yeah, no, we similar. We actually just one Griffin Elkington, who owns River City. He is builder and developer as well, and we just built 6 new construction homes by the University of Memphis, and we built those focusing on what would 22-year-old college student need in their house, so the USB and different things. But we built houses for probably who would be the tenants, not saying that they have to be the tenants, but usually over by the U of M, it's the Kearney and Eccles area. It's probably going to be students, so we built the houses to attract the students. So moving forward, I would think that's something, like you said, your builder friends and my builder friends are probably, when they're building, are probably going to start doing the bigger office nook, off the kitchen, or the landing area that has kind of a built-in desk area more than it maybe would have had prior. But I would think that's something that people are going to, it's kind of like when they builders started kind of doing away with the big formal dining room and more of an open concept. So now I would think that's something they would start kind of focusing on. Is there a work area here that kind of built in?
Yeah, it's funny. I'm one of my vices is guilty pleasures, as I watch a lot of real estate shows on cable.
Saturday morning for me.
Yeah, Love It or Listed, or Home Time, and all the. And I have noticed what you're saying. There's open concept, but more and more, and these were all shot pre-COVID. More and more that these people are saying, well, one of the things that I want is an office, and I think that's just going to continue to be a thing, because we're working differently. A lot of people don't work for companies anymore. They're kind of freelancers, and they're working from home, and it's going to be interesting to see what develops from all of this.
I worked from home for the first 2 weeks of or the last 2 weeks of March, and because I had been around a friend of mine who had tested positive for COVID. And, this was 8 months ago, and I was freaking out. I didn't have any signs. I didn't even know what to do. I didn't go get tested. I just stayed at home, didn't leave the house. But I had kids at home, and it was if I'm home, it's hard for me to work if the kids are there, because I'm changing diapers and I'm giving bottles, and owners were calling me asking questions because everybody's freaking out, and I'm answering. I'm like, I'm at home. I hold on, I'll call you back. I gotta go change a diaper. And if I'd told somebody that a year ago, they're like, man, I got this property manager in Memphis. He's always at home. He's said he's quarantined and he can't talk because he's changing. But now everybody I was talking to is the same thing. They're all working from home, whether they're parents or grandparents or whatever. So everybody understood what was going on because we all dealt with it. We're all dealing with it still. And I think if you can work from home and or work from go out of town for a week and still work from the beach. And, um, that's a good thing. Yeah.
I always say it's the American dream to work from your house. The president works from his house.
Mm-hmm.
What is River City's unique selling proposition? What about River City is unique and makes you guys the go-to in your industry?
Well, I try to say, and I don't ever want to, and I never would talk any negatives about other companies. Every company has their, positives that makes them good. I feel, I have a very close relationship with my owners. I feel I have a very close relationship with my tenants. I tell owners all the time, when we used to have the in-person lease signings, I would ask, the question would always be, why didn't you sign with your previous property management company? Why didn't you re-sign where you were, or rent another house from them? And typically it was always because they didn't take care of maintenance. So we try our best to take care of maintenance in a timely manner, to be cordial and in very good standing with the tenants, with always keeping the owners, the owner's my client. Like I said earlier, my goal is their financial interest in the home and to take care of the property. But keeping that good relationship with the tenants is extremely important, because one thing about the financial investment in the property, if a tenant moves out every year and you have that constant turnover, your cash flow you had for that year just is wiped out, because got to paint again, you got to do carpet again, you got to utility bills, yard cutting, cleaning, paying us to rent it again, like all the things that come from being vacant and not having rent coming in. So I think keeping that personal good relationship with the tenants that we try to do, we can't keep everyone happy, but we try, and having a real good personal relationship with owners. I tell owners, every owner has a different expectation. Some want hands off, and I talked to an owner today. He owns a bunch of other houses and he manages a lot of them himself and has been doing so for 40 years in a different city. He wants to know about everything, and that's fine. I said, I will do my best at keeping you in the loop on everything. And I told him, I said, some owners don't want to hear about anything. He wants to hear about everything. So I try to keep everyone happy, and I can't always do that, but I feel like I have a really good personal relationship with my owners. I love it when they come into town, which unfortunately the last 8 months they haven't been able to do. But I like I like that personal relationship. I don't want them to ever feel like a number. I want them to feel like they can call me, and I'll, text me, call me, email me, I'll call them back. And, usually we can always get through any problem. Usually if I'm talking to somebody a lot, there's something going on, either a major maintenance issue, or the house hadn't got it rented yet, or, if you don't hear from me, usually it's good news. And then whenever I call, and sometimes I call just to check on owners, and they answer the phone, hello, expecting me to say the hot water tank's out, or
What blew up? What blew up?
we need a new roof, the tenant moved out unexpectedly or something. But trying to keep that personal relationship is extremely important, because it's led to, we really haven't advertised any, and it's all word of mouth on referrals. So it's important to me to try my best to treat people, like I said, treat them like treat the house like it's my own house. And usually most people are happy with that.
Yeah, if I could go back and talk to my 20-year-old self, I think one of the things that I would tell myself is relationships really do matter.
100%.
When these older guys tell you it's all about relationships, they're not just flapping their gums. That's really what it's all about, particularly in a place like Memphis.
Oh yeah. Everyone knows everyone. They really do. Especially, I'm going to Christian Brothers. My mother-in-law, my mother-in-law is Jewish. My wife's Jewish, and so she when I said I went to Christian Brothers, she automatically assumes every Italian in Memphis that I know of. And we would be at a restaurant, and she'd see somebody she knows, and they say their last name, and it's an Italian last name, and she's like, "You must know my son-in-law," and she'll bring people up to the table. I'll say, "They'll introduce." She thinks we know each other, and it's, but a lot of times we do. Is the funny thing. You know, we either know somebody that knows somebody, or, you know, I'm sure you and I have hundreds and hundreds of mutual friends. And yeah, so a place like Memphis, the relationships is extremely important.
Well, what's next on the horizon? I know, like me, 2020 knocked all the props out of all my long range planning, but I've been starting to do some. What are you guys looking at doing?
Well, you know, it was one of those. I always want to be more organized. That's my thing. I want everyone around me to be organized, because I'm not, and I need help. And so, you know, whether it's new software, that's something I've been kind of researching. I do want to, obviously, you know, and I say this, I look forward to 2021, as does everyone, but I do want to I'm always wanting to learn more. So going to a couple of these national property management conventions is something I was planning on doing this year, and just to get new ideas. I mean, I feel like, you know, I want advice from people. You know, I talk to other property managers. I think that's a good thing to do. I'm sure you talk to, you know, friends that are attorneys to give different ideas on, you know, different things. And yeah, so maybe continuing education, something I, you know, want to continue with, but you know, we got to get through this. I don't know however many more months we're gonna, you know, months, hopefully not more years, but more months of the COVID crisis. And so I think technology to become to save time and be more organized are two things that I really want to time management and organization. And with the help of technology are the things I hope to, you know, it just helps us grow. And I mean, because we should continue to continue growing at about 100 new properties a year. And so we always kind of have to plan ahead. You know, I don't want to be growing at the pace that I can't keep up with it, and then I'm doing a disservice to my other clients who have been with me for years. And so I always want to kind of plan ahead. So time management is very important.
Sure. Morgan, I appreciate it a whole bunch. I've really enjoyed our talk and getting to know you and getting to know your company. Sounds like a great company. Sounds like your future is bright. And I appreciate you coming on the show.
Well, I appreciate it. I'm sorry if my phone's cut out a couple of times. So I don't know if you could hear it or it cuts out when people call in, but I wish I could have gotten my computer working, but doing it on my phone's just as good. And
that was good.
It's really, really good to be on your show. I appreciate it. Look forward to hopefully sporting events. What sporting events are you a big Tiger fan?
Big Tiger fan. I
Okay.
went to the U of M. It was Memphis State then. You know, I didn't grow up with the NBA, so I'm not a huge NBA fan. I'm a big Grizzlies fan, so I do Grizzlies.
Yeah.
My wife and I are big baseball fans. My family were my dad's generation, particularly, were all accomplished baseball players. So
okay,
we go to the Cardinals and the Redbirds. I love sports. Both my sons played different things growing up, and enjoyed watching them. And my middle son is at University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, and was on the baseball team before all of this. And they've kind of suspended the baseball operations out there. So I'd love for that to get revved up again. But I'm definitely now I really have been enjoying watching all the golf this year. It's been interesting to watch watch the
It
major.
has been. I mean, watching the Masters in November was pretty cool. You know, it was. I wish it had been. I mean, I'm glad Dustin Johnson won, but I wish it had been a little closer at the end. And he hadn't won by so much. But yeah, watching golf's been really neat. You know, it's. I look forward to getting people ask what you look forward to besides saying 2021. I look forward to going to a crowded sporting event at some point. You know, and like you said, a baseball game. You know, I say, you know, to watch on TV, I probably prefer football and football, golf, and basketball. But a live sporting event, it's hard to beat a baseball game.
Oh, I agree.
But going live, I mean, that's something I do look forward to, and hope very soon we can go to a crowded sporting event. But it will take some time. So I understand.
Well, very good. I appreciate it. And I appreciate everybody watching. And if you enjoyed this, and let's face it, you loved it, this was a great show. Please share the podcast, either email it, share it on social media, like us, all that good stuff. Very helpful for other folks to see it. If there are potential guests you'd like to see in the future, please email me at askallen@cronelawfirmplc.com. And we'll see you next time. Again, Morgan, thank you. And see everybody next time on Ask Allen.